a negative goes into a positive from that situation. Really.
Hollywood dazzles us with perfection, flawless faces, sparkling gowns, and stars who look almost untouchable. But behind that glittering curtain lies a truth so disturbing, so hidden, that even lifelong fans never see it. Because some of the biggest legends in movie history, Oscar winners, box office kings, beauty icons, carried hygiene secrets so shocking that Robert Duvall himself refused to work with them. These weren't newcomers or forgotten names. These were giants, icons, people we worshipped on the big screen, while their co-stars struggled just to stand next to them. Today, we expose the 9 Hollywood legends whose habits were so unbearable, so unbelievable, that you won't look at them the same way again. The first revelation comes from the world of psychological horror. During the making of The Shining, the legendary Jack Nicholson, known for his extraordinary performances and magnetic presence, lived a lifestyle far more chaotic than anyone imagined. His longtime colleague Robert Duvall revealed that Nicholson's personal hygiene during this period was nearly non-existent. He would arrive on set in the same wrinkled clothes he had worn for days. The overpowering mix of sweat, alcohol, and heavy cigarette smoke filled every room he entered. Makeup artists had to keep every window open while preparing him, just to breathe normally. Nicholson brushed off every concern, stating in interviews that he only lived for art and that personal grooming was nothing but a meaningless luxury. Even Angelica Huston, his partner at the time, admitted she constantly had to remind him to shower. Behind the polished Hollywood legend was a man who lived in complete disregard of cleanliness, yet carried a genius that overshadowed everything else. Another shockingly unhygienic star was none other than Al Pacino, whose legendary performances in films like The Godfather shaped modern cinema. But during the early 1970s, Pacino had a habit that stunned everyone around him. Deeply devoted to method acting, he ignored bathing, grooming, and even changing his clothes. The smell that surrounded him was described as a dense cloud made of stale sweat, cigarette smoke, and cold coffee. During intense filming schedules, Pacino often appeared in the same sweat-stained shirt for several days in a row. Robert Duvall, who worked closely with him, admitted that he often had to maintain physical distance just to survive scenes with him. When questioned about his habits, Pacino famously declared that he cared only for his craft, hygiene, social standards, expectations. None of it mattered. What mattered was the performance. And while the world praised him for his intensity, the people working beside him knew that standing next to Al Pacino required strength far beyond acting. Another actor whose talent came packaged with overwhelming odor was Gene Hackman. Known for powerhouse performances in films like The French Connection, Hackman was brilliant on screen, but off-screen he lived in a haze of cigarette smoke and neglected grooming. During the filming of The French Connection, Hackman repeatedly showed up wearing the same old clothes, unwashed and dripping with the scent of tobacco. The next name takes us into the burning deserts of Lawrence of Arabia, where Peter O'Toole delivered one of the most iconic performances in cinematic history. But behind that brilliance was a man whose personal hygiene was nearly non-existent. During the filming in Egypt, O'Toole would often go weeks without bathing. Under the scorching desert heat, he wore the same clothes repeatedly, allowing sweat, sand, cigarette smoke, and alcohol fumes to blend into a scent that co-workers described as suffocating. Even when stylists used bottles of cologne to try masking the odor, the smell remained so strong that crew members had to physically distance themselves from him. Off-set, O'Toole lived in cluttered apartments filled with old clothes, empty bottles, and an environment that mirrored his unkempt habits. When confronted about his hygiene, O'Toole claimed bathing simply wasn't important to him. His neglect even led to painful skin inflammations, yet he continued living exactly the way he wanted. The next shock comes from a beauty icon who surprised the world not with her glamour, but with her shocking lack of cleanliness. Brigitte Bardot, known globally for her breathtaking beauty, Bardot lived a lifestyle that contradicted her glamorous image completely. She openly admitted that she disliked bathing and believed her natural scent was a symbol of freedom. During the filming of And God Created Woman in Saint-Tropez, Bardot repeatedly went days without showering. Her hair was oily, her skin sticky from sweat, and cigarette smoke clung to her like a permanent perfume. Crew members have spoken of entire studios filled with her scent, forcing stylists to spray perfume on her moments before close-ups. Her Refusal to bathe for several days at a time caused her to develop rashes and scalp irritation. And yet, Bardot remained unapologetic. She embraced her habits proudly and refused to conform to any Hollywood expectation. Moving deeper into Hollywood history, we encounter Orson Welles, the mastermind behind classics like Citizen Kane and Touch of Evil. Welles was a brilliant filmmaker, but lived with habits that left his colleagues horrified. During the shooting of The Trial in France, Welles often appeared in clothes he had worn for days. The smell of old food, spilled alcohol, and cigarette ashes clung heavily to his body. He had a habit of eating constantly throughout filming, leaving crumbs and greasy stains everywhere. Crew members said that even his chair carried a strong smell long after he left the room. Doctors warned him about infections due to poor hygiene, but Welles dismissed the concerns with a wave of the hand, insisting that work mattered more than hygiene. His turbulent personal life, from loud conflicts to failed relationships, mirrored the chaos he carried with him physically. Another star whose beauty hid a much darker reality was Ava Gardner. Known as one of the most stunning women of Hollywood's golden era, Gardner shocked everyone with her personal habits. During the filming of The Barefoot Contessa, Gardner frequently skipped bathing for days. Her room often smelled of alcohol, old makeup, and sweaty clothes. She sometimes slept without removing her makeup, causing her skin to become clogged, irritated, and inflamed. Crew members described romantic scenes with her as extremely difficult because her body odor was overpowering. Her relationship with Frank Sinatra only added fuel to the fire, as their public fights and chaotic lifestyle made her even more notorious. Gardner embraced her wild, free-spirited ways, but they made her nearly impossible to work with behind the scenes. The next name on the list represents the very essence of Hollywood rebellion. Robert Mitchum, the man whose off-screen lifestyle was just as wild as the characters he played. Known for unforgettable films like The Night of the Hunter, Mitchum didn't just act like a rule breaker, he lived like one. His colleagues recall that he often arrived on set wearing the same shirt, the same pants, and sometimes the same socks for several days in a row. The smell of cigarettes, whiskey, and unwashed sweat clung to him so tightly that it became part of his identity, a scent you noticed long before he walked into frame. Stylists repeatedly begged him to shower before major scenes, but Mitchum simply smirked and dismissed them. To him, hygiene was optional, but attitude was mandatory. His refusal to cooperate sparked endless arguments on set. Directors complained, makeup teams struggled, and actors found it nearly impossible to share close-up shots with him. Yet despite the chaos he created, Mitchum's undeniable magnetism always kept him in the spotlight. His rugged charm, smoky voice, and rebellious spirit made him a fan favorite, even as his off-screen habits became legendary, for all the wrong reasons. But if Mitchum's hygiene was shocking, the final name on the list pushes things into truly unbelievable territory. Enter Dennis Hopper, the storm at the center of Hollywood's most chaotic era. During the filming of Easy Rider, Hopper was completely consumed by addiction, sleepless nights, and a lifestyle spinning far beyond control. For 4 or 5 days at a time, he wore the exact same clothes, sweat-soaked shirts, dusty jeans, and jackets carrying the smell of cigarettes, alcohol, and pure stress. His skin often broke out from never washing, yet Hopper refused to bathe, refused to change outfits, and refused to acknowledge the growing discomfort of everyone around him. Makeup artists attempted desperate solutions. They sprayed perfume onto him, layered powders over his irritated skin, and worked while holding their breath. But nothing could mask the overpowering odor that followed Hopper everywhere. On set, at rehearsals, even during emotionally intense scenes, directors clashed with him constantly. Actors walked away shaking their heads. His relationships became explosive, dramatic, and notoriously short-lived. Yet through all the madness, one thing was undeniable. Dennis Hopper was brilliant. His raw talent, unpredictable energy, and fearless performance style made him unforgettable. But just like the characters he played, Hopper lived in a whirlwind of chaos, a cloud of disorder and neglect that left an unforgettable mark on everyone who crossed his path. Behind every Hollywood legend lies a truth the spotlight never reveals. Talent may shine, but their hidden flaws shine just as bright. If these secrets shocked you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more untold stories. Thanks for watching.